One more person, and when the minister comes in, please let's rise up and give him a raucous Sun City round of applause. Let him feel us, so that all the businesses here, frankly, you move them from the 10,000 upwards. I'm telling you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Next person gets 200 Ghana cedis just to warm up your pocket.
I mean, it's Sun City, so it has to be hot. Okay. Out of the lions, then we have Daniel Kondo. Daniel Kondo. Out of the lions.
It's happening. Daniel, 200 Ghana cedis.
Yes, fresh one. It's fresh. Show it to them. Fresh one.
Are you ready? Hello, Sun City. All right. After we've had the presentations, can you hear me? We will hand out 2 brand new phones with enough airtime for a whole year. Are you ready? Wow. Just to remind you, when minister comes, what do? Give him a special Sun City welcome. Let him feel that we are jamming, we are jumping. Let's just welcome him in a grand style. Are you ready? Wonderful. All right. So to welcome us to Sun City, let's put our hands together for Executive Director of the Springboard Roadshow Foundation, Mrs. Comfort Okran. Make some noise for her. Yeah. And she comes to formally welcome us to the Springboard Youth Dialogues today. You see her vim? She hasn't even won 200 cedis, but look at the vim. There you go. Thank you. Woo!
Let's get it going. Welcome. Are you people ready for a time of your life? No. Why? It's a dialogue. Why? You said no. Why? Why are you not ready? You are ready. You are ready. Today, Sun City is going to go down. Charlie? Okay, so I have to calm myself down because technically we are online, alive, everywhere. So I have to calm myself down and be a good executive director. But it's a real privilege to be with you here this morning. This morning promises to be a wonderful day like no other. I'm really grateful that we are all here. We've heard from NEIP, we've heard from GEA or former NBSSI. I cannot tell you, when the Honorable Minister comes, you will be blown away. We have the privilege of having the Sunyani Bono Regional Minister with us as well, so there's so much to learn. I beg you, take your notepads. Please be writing in them because you will go away with a lot of ideas for yourself. So, I would like to welcome you to the second edition of the Springboard Dialogues. The second edition of these dialogues, are a series of dialogues that we hope to have with the youth to see how our country can grow and build on the capacity of all of you gathered here in this hall. I would like to specially welcome the Honorable Ken Oforiatta, who will be joining us very soon, the Honorable Bono Regional Minister, Honorable Justina Owusu-Banahene, the heads of various agencies gathered here today, and I would like to welcome our media friends who are helping us carry this program across the Bono East, as well as Ashanti, Oti regions. This as well, and for those who are unable to have access to the radio, this is online as well at Springboard RS or at Comfort Okran A on Facebook, as well as Albert Okran A. I would like you to clap for yourselves over here, because you are the ones who are making it happen. It makes me so glad that we are here today. This historic intervention is the second in our series. We are connecting you to opportunities and policy interventions that aim at accelerating our progress, especially in the areas of business and career development. As you know, the Springboard Roadshow is a mentoring platform that seeks to generate conversations and interactions between achievers and young people about various topics, including leadership, entrepreneurship, talent, investment, and career development. The foundation has been organizing roadshows for the past 14 years, and we have traveled the country all over the various regions since January 2007. In the process, we have directly mentored over 250,000 young people all over this country. Our venue, Usbed Hotel, has over the years hosted some of the most iconic roadshows in Bono region. Today, thanks to COVID-19, we are hosting 4 convocations, and at this point, I would like to pause as we welcome the Honorable Minister for Finance, Honorable Ken Oforiatta, and the Bono Regional Minister, Honorable Justina Owusu Banahene. Let's clap for them, because they've made so much. They've made it a point to be here with us, and we are grateful. Thank you for coming with us and for making sure the young people of this country are able to have a great interaction. Thank you. Excellent. You may be seated. Yeah. Yes. As I was saying, why is Springboard Roadshow having the Springboard Youth Dialogues? After years of inspiring and mentoring so many young people, Springboard is taking this to the next level. We are actively engaging with agencies that provide business opportunities for young people in the form of training, job placement, business financing, and other critical need areas for the youth. With us in Sunyani today are executives of the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, NEIP, the Ghana Enterprises Agency, formerly NBSSI, and the Ghana Cares Obatampa Program. This is quite a broad pool of opportunity for you to tap from, and they will shortly be telling you what they have for us. In designing these interactions, we reached out to the Honorable Minister for Finance himself, a veteran Springboard resource person from the very foundations of the Springboard Roadshow, and he was with us for the first 5 editions. Not only did he wholeheartedly embrace the ideas we shared, he personally offered to travel with us all the way and provide much needed answers to young people across the country. Thank you, Mr. Ken Oforiatta, for being with us in Tamale. You are here with us as well. The interesting thing is that he said we should just call him Ken. So please, when we reach the question time, don't add the honor, just say Ken, and I can assure you, he would answer every question that we have for him today. Thank you. The theme for this year in Springboard is repositioning. The changes the world has seen, especially with COVID-19 and the growth of technology and innovation, has meant that individuals, companies, and even nations have to radically rethink the ways of doing things and reposition themselves for the future. We will be discussing repositioning today and focusing on how each of you can bounce back from the disruptions of COVID-19 and find opportunities for your businesses and your career. If there was ever such a time that such conversations were needed, it is now. Our generations of young people are facing challenges that previous generations did not face. They are dealing with pressures we or some of their parents are unfamiliar with, and they are asking questions that someone needs to answer. Springboard will continue working with you, our young people, and helping us become the very best that you can be, leaders of this great nation and continent of ours. Today's session will feature a series of brief presentations, a keynote presentation by Ken. We will then have a series of questions and answers to get your expectations and ideas to help design relevant policies, interventions. There would also be a media interaction after the session. In between, there will be some music. We would also have some youth voices sharing their testimonies from the Springboard roadshows or programs like the Hangout, Teenpreneurship, the virtual university, and the core program. The core program was a COVID-19 mentoring and counseling intervention that we ran last year that positively impacted over 23 million participants in Ghana, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, among others. Of course, we would have our wow moments, and some of you will be winning cash and phones. And some have already won from the very beginning. And so get ready for a full-blown Springboard experience. When I say hello, then you say what? Hello, Bono. Hello, Ghana. Hello, Ghana. I want to hear the wow. Let's hear the wow. Hello, Ghana. As I bring my conclusions and my remarks to a close, I want to thank the team at Springboard for putting things together. Welcome once again to the Springboard Dialogues put together by the Ghana Springboard Roadshow Foundation. Do reach out to a friend, tag them, and let them share in this amazing experience. Hello, Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comfort, for your welcome remarks. This event, the Springboard Youth Dialogues, is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation and in partnership with the Ministry of Finance. Our collaborating agencies include the Ghana Cares or Batampa Program, Ghana Enterprises Agency, and of course the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program. We're live across so many radio stations. ARC FM here in Sunyani, Nshira FM in Kumasi, we've got Love FM in Kumasi, Classic FM in Techiman. Where else? We have Voice FM in Doma, Ahenkro. We've also got Genesis FM in Gosu, Adas FM in Kintampo, Shalom FM in Berkum, YFM in Kumasi, and Akonoba FM in Sunyani. We are streaming on the internet on the Springboard website, which is springboard.com.gh, and on Facebook, look for Albert N.E. Okran, Comfort Okran A, and Springboard RS. Any of those portals will do for you. And on YouTube, look for Albert Okran or Springboard Road Show. Pretty soon, we'll be hearing from some youth who have voices to tell us their experience and how Springboard has touched their lives. But ahead of that, let's welcome with a beautiful, warm, Sun City welcome, one of your own, Fali Finest from Sunyani. Put your hands together for him, please.
Hello, Sunyane. Hello, Sunyane. Are you ready to be here? Are you glad to be here, please? If you are glad to be here, let me see your hands up like this. You are very welcome to the show. Please, how do I look? How do I look, please? Okay, I thank you. Please, DJ, let's go. Are you ready for some high life music? Hey, why ready? If you're ready to be here, let me see you on your feet. On your feet. On your feet. Everybody. On your feet. Hey. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I'll say that. Hey. Yembi omani. Odobra yembi omani. Snapchat say you post any. IG pictures. Papa B. Yedi odo da da da. Menini day penny bar. And the baby I made you breakfast in bed. Oh, never so I see your pen. Netflix and chill. Netflix and hey, make me cuddle on the sofa. Hey, oh, that's sorry, that's hey, oh, that's sorry, that's hey, hey, make me cuddle on the sofa. On the sofa. Hey, you me or money. Oh, dobra, you me or money. Woman, you may be a savvy. Ah, and I say, I'm a say, ah, Yedi or no, da, a woman, oh, dedo, ah, oh, dedo, open Netflix and chill. Hey, make me cuddle on the sofa. I say that, I say, open Netflix and chill. Hey, make me cuddle on the sofa. I am off on the way. Oba hima si dem sawasa. Hey, oba hima si dem sawasa. Oba hima si dem sawasa. Si dem sawasa. Missy men show via. Oba hima si dem sawasa. Oba hima si dem sawasa. Hey, oba hima si dem sawasa. Si dem sawasa. Missy men show via.
Give me all money, dear, and hold me tight, my knee. I say, baby, come let's show.
Thank you very much, MC. Good morning once again. My name is Amwa Michael, and I'm here to share my experience with Springboard Roadshow. I joined Springboard Roadshow about 5 years ago when I was dropped out of school. I completed junior high school in 2003. I lost hope. Because of broken home and financial constraint, I couldn't continue. So I was introduced to Springboard Roadshow by my pastor in Kumasi CCC Church. And then I attended the program, and I was motivated by the presentations by the resource persons that particular day. So I took a bold step, and then I enrolled as a private candidate at Osei Senior High School, where I did home economics. So I registered as a private candidate anyway. After my graduation, I enrolled in February 2014 and completed on August 2014, same year. Then I got admission into Sunyani Technical University to do HND Hospitality Management. That's Hotel Catering Institutional Management. When I completed with my HND, I proceeded to Christ Apostolic University College in Kumasi, where I read Bachelor of Science Hospitality Management. It didn't end there. I got motivated again, and I enrolled at University of Education, Wendeba Kumasi campus, where I read postgraduate diploma in education. So in the space of about 6 years, what I couldn't achieve within the 11 years of being in the house, actually for all the 11 years that I was in the street of Kumasi, that's KJTR, after my graduation from the junior high school, I was selling yogurt and fine ice in Kumasi. That was what I was doing to earn a living in Kumasi before I got introduced to the Springboard Roadshow. My dear brothers and sisters, if you find yourself here today, it's a privilege to be here. Be motivated and then encouraged by whatever the resource persons are going to tell us here, because that was what I did about 5 to 6 years ago, and today I am the canteen superintendent for a German-Swiss corporation in Sanwem. I'm the head of hospitality and then canteen superintendent, and exactly today, 7th June 2021, I'm assuming a new role, and coincidentally in Sunyani here as the cafeteria manager for University of Energy and Natural Resources. So my brothers and sisters, whatever we are going to learn here, take it serious. And then I was able to finance my bachelor's degree education through the webmaster by Star Life Assurance or Star Life Insurance. That's the life insurance program. They have a policy called the webmaster. That was what I enrolled on. And they attended the roadshow as we are doing today, and then they spoke to us about it as our dear madam came and then spoke about the NYEP and the NBSSI to us. So please be motivated and encouraged and find yourself very, very opportunistic to be here, and then take advantage of whatever is going to happen here. And God will bless you as He has blessed me. Thank you very much.
And to think that this morning I took a walk around the airport and took a picture right in front of UENR, not knowing that the first of the youth voices would be somebody who has, just think about it. He was selling fun ice, and now as canteen manager, he will be serving fun ice on his menu if you want dessert to the people there. He actually sold it on the streets, and now he's a manager at the university. Please. Wow. The power of Springboard. The next person to speak to us is coming via technology. So you need to be looking at the screen and listening to her voice. It's on a video, and she is now an environmental expert. Check out her story.
I am Evelyn Afro. I would like to say a big thanks to the Springboard team, to Albert and Comfort, to Robert, to AOB, to Obing and Pope. I work with a private company from Ghana, and my role there is to ensure compliance in local international standards with our operations. My first encounter with Springboard was in 2009 on Joy FM, and subsequently had an encounter again at the university where I was actively involved, and I learned so many. Key among them include communication and networking skills. This opened an opportunity for me at the university where I was recommended to be a research assistant. It again opened another door for a higher degree. So I could say that Springboard really helped me with my career pattern, and I'm hoping to receive more from them as I'm still in contact with them. So I will recommend to all young ones to actively participate in Springboard for their personal growth and development. Thank you.
Sunyani Technical University, where the program was happening. At the time, I had finished the university as a graphic designer, and I had decided that I wanted to start something here in Sunyani. But I had fears, because out of the 86 graduates who were my course mates, all of them were either in Accra or in Kumasi. So it felt like an island being here. But it was one sentence from Reverend Albert Okran that changed everything. He said something at the program, and I quote, "There is no Sunyani standard. There is no Accra standard. There is only one standard, which is the global standard." Now, as I thought about those words, I reimagined myself, and I deepened my decision to stay here in Sunyani, but not work as if I'm in Sunyani, but I'm working for the global community. I look at the companies that were coming here. People told me all the head offices are in Accra. Why don't you try something like photocopy, binding? And I told them that no. There will be companies who will require services like the same that my peers are rendering in Accra here in Sunyani with time. And today, I'm happy that we have companies and institutions that require our services. From a single laptop that started that company, today we are happy that
So my takeaway message from your message is that there is no Sunyani standard. There's only one standard, it's the global standard. That's my takeaway. What is your takeaway? Write it in your book right now and take it away with you when this is over. But this is not over. We've just begun, because we're about to hear the power of one moment. Let's put our hands together and let's welcome Executive Coach, co-founder of the Springboard Roadshow Foundation. Let's make some good Sun City noise for Reverend Albert Okran. Sunyani, hello Sunyani. Hello Sunyani. Hello Sunyani.
I want to pay my deepest respects to my big brother Ken for being such a great mentor in my life. 20 years ago, he began to model for me what it took to build a good society, and graciously introduced Comfort and I to the Africa Leadership Initiative, and later to the Aspen Global Institute in Colorado, USA. And through that leadership program that really challenged us, what began as a small initiative at the Osu Ebenezer Presby Hall in Accra, with a few young people just challenging them to be better citizens of the country, and to try out building their own business has grown to become the largest youth development initiative in this country, with presence in all 16 regions. But even more importantly, an institution that has been recognized across the world. And last year, MasterCard Foundation was looking for a partner to just work with to help young people going through the COVID pandemic. And the reputation that Springboard had built made us the obvious choice for that partnership. And today, as we stand here, we are launching on Thursday, with the support of the finance minister, this book that is a book of 200 stories similar to what was just shared. Young people saying it is possible to do awesome things in the face of difficulties and challenges. My friends, it is possible. We can do it, and we can build this great nation. Thanks, Ken. Thanks for being a great role model to us. Thank you all for coming. Hello, Sun City. I love the response. And let me say a big thank you to all those joining us across the various regions of the middle belt of this country, Brown region, the Ahafo region, Brown East, and then also the Great Ashanti region and beyond. I am speaking briefly today on the power of one moment. Let's say it together. One more time. Do you like my emoji? All right, so I'm starting with... Right. Let me take a moment before I continue to respectfully acknowledge the regional minister. Thank you so much for being a great host to us. Let's rise up, let them see you. Let's appreciate our regional minister. Thank you so much, Mom. Thank you for the warm reception, the support, and making our stay here so beautiful. Thank you, Honorable Regional Minister. Thanks to all the various leaders in the region, the heads of the agencies coming here with us. Thank you for supporting us. God bless you so much. I'd like to prepare the grounds before our main speaker comes up by sharing a few thoughts about somebody who sees the power of one moment. His name is Jeff Obing, but many of you know him as Mufasa. Now, many of you have seen on TikTok, and I'm sure for the young people that's very familiar, this video, because in October 2019, this young man took the world by storm with a very simple 60-second video. Let me pause for the team to show the video, and then we will talk about it. Have you seen this? All right, play it. And that was all. 60 seconds of entertainment, and it changed his life forever. So this video was posted on October the 19th, dancing to the remix of a song, Push the Feeling On by the Nightcrawlers. Jeff was born in the Bronx, and he reminds us of the power of just one moment. In the video, himself and his friend, the hype man, are traveling in the car. The car stops, and then the hype man tells him, it's Friday, then it's Saturday, Sunday, what? And then the guy gets out of the car and starts dancing for 1 minute. In over a year, the video received more than 270,000 likes and 1.5 million views on Instagram. Interestingly, the original song didn't get any traction. But 8 days after Mufasa's video, the original song was reposted on YouTube, and in 1 year, it garnered 10 million views. On Spotify, where I watch it, the remix has been played, guess what, over 61 million times. And anytime somebody watches for 1 minute, they get money. Why did I choose this very simple story? Because since then, the young man's life has changed forever. It's been used for different videos on TikTok and various platforms. The hashtag is Friday Then has accumulated 20.6 million views, and the video has been used for 40,000 different videos. The dance has been made an emoji. Katy Perry recreated it on her own page, and recently when he visited Ghana a year ago, he was treated like royalty. Why do I choose to share this video? Because a little idea in your hands that you are despising could be the game changer for the rest of your life. And I'll tell you why this is so important at the end of my message. But repositioning is simply about the big jump from a mass of people who are complaining, saying nothing is possible, to somebody who says, I will take my destiny by storm and do something with my life. And there is somebody like that right here in this hall. Who is that person? Let me see your right hand up. Wonderful. Somebody who believes that you can jump up and fight and do something awesome. What does it take? 3 things, and I'll sit down. 1, a clear intent. Somebody says, I want to build a poultry business. Somebody says, I want to start a major delivery business in food or fashion. I recently interviewed fashion entrepreneurs who did not sew a thing, but who had created a business that was selling all over the world because they had created a delivery chain. So the kinds of businesses that we are going to be building going forward, young people, must not be the traditional businesses that we have in mind. We must stretch our imagination and have a clear idea of what you are trying to do. When somebody meets you in a forum like this, Franklin and Co., and they want to give you an opportunity, or the Ghana Enterprises Agency, or the MDSSI, and they ask you, what exactly do you want to do? You must say, Philomena, I want to do this and that. Clearly explained, and then you stand a chance of being supported. 5 questions that one must ask as you contemplate what to do. Number 1, where am I now? Where am I now? So you're a final year student entrepreneurship in UNE, or Ghana Technical, or the Sunyani Technical University, or Catholic University, or you started a small business. Where are you now? Then where are you going? Not only where are you, but where are you going? What are you trying to get? Where are you trying to get to? Where are you going? So you say, if I get the support, if I'm able to get this up and running within 5 years, I intend to be able to employ 50 people and also export to West Africa. 3rd question, how do I get there? How do I get there? So you map out what you are trying to deliver, what service you are trying to provide, and you must be very clear. What does your business do differently from the competition? You must form the habit of asking questions. Question everything that you do. Ask yourself questions over and over and over. Find out from others who are doing well what they did differently. Anytime you see a model that is working, ask several questions. David asked, what shall be done for the one who will kill Goliath? Once he heard free tax, Mr. Finance Minister, people don't like paying tax. Once David heard that if he killed Goliath, his father's house will not pay tax, he said, I'll kill him. Then they added that he will get a wife in addition. That was even more motivation. Then finally, they said he and his family will eat free at the king's table. Free food plus wife plus tax-free, he killed Goliath. So when you hear about anything that is doing well, ask questions. Ask tough questions. And today we have the benefit of several top officials and the Honorable Minister himself available. Ask them questions, tough questions, and that could be the turning point in your life. The second point I would like to make is about relevant technology. Relevant technology. I mentioned, interestingly, that Mufasa just had a phone and he turned his life around. Let me challenge you and say that have an appetite for technology. Today we are gathered here, all of us nicely in our face masks, but no matter how big the audience is here, there are tens of thousands, and by probably in a couple of weeks more, about 1 million people watching this program all across the world. What does it mean? A whole new paradigm, that your audience is never those who are staying with you within the same locational space. Have a curiosity about technology. For some, it might be Facebook. Others, it might be YouTube. For somebody, it just might be Google Maps. Today I went for a walk around town. I didn't ask anybody in. I just kept walking with my Google Maps. I went, Madam Minister, I went in front of your house and I also took pictures and I posted them, and everybody said, Sunyani is the most beautiful and cleanest city in town, and I'm sure you're very happy like that. So it's just understanding which one do you need. When it comes to technology, ask yourself, which one do you need? I don't understand all the algorithms, but I know what I need and I work with it. The core program was proof that technology is a game changer. We were locked down, we couldn't move, and you wanted to reach 3 million people every month through radio, online programs. We worked with 298 mentors and 52 trained clinical psychologists and counselors, and we were able to reach, on average, 3 million people every month by the power of the media and social media. It is possible if we will leverage technology, and we will do so successfully. I want us to model a scenario. So for all those of you who are here, I can't come down because of the number of microphones here, but for all those of you who are here, what business idea are you trying to promote? Let me find out. Anybody, just lift up your hand. Anybody? What idea are you trying to, what business are you trying to build? Anybody? Yes, madam. I'll hear, don't worry, just talk. NGO. So not for profit. Anybody else? Yes? I just want to hear a few ideas, about 5. Yes? Social enterprise. Okay, I see. Social enterprise are gaining traction. Yes, ma'am. What? Charity foundation. Please build some for profits for us too, and we need some for profits. Okay, anybody else? Yes? Oh, all 3 are from my left. Those on my right. Any ideas? Any businesses you're trying to build? Yes, shout it out from the back. What are you trying to build? Pardon? What do you say? Microprocessing. Agro-processing. Oh, all right. Is it in cashew? Is it in cashew? All right. So for anyone who wants to build a business, let me show you a simple, and give me the next point on the slide. Some of these assets are available technologies in this country. Some of them birthed and created in the past few years by deliberate policy intervention that can change your life completely. So imagine that you had either Google Maps or the Ghana Post app. It means that anyone who wants to buy your products, you can locate them and they can locate you anywhere in the country without moving. Imagine that you had a social media page, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And then also imagine that you used either the Ghana Post or any dispatch or delivery service. You can actually sew and sit in your house here in Sunyani and deliver it to somebody in Ho, in Boku, in Tamale, in Tadi, without ever meeting the person in your whole life. That gives you a huge market size and unlimited possibilities. The final point is about wealth creation. I learned from the minister in Tamale that world creation is a mindset. Have a mind that says, I can do it. And let me end with a story about my own experience when I started out in my business. And I remember in November 1998, I was traveling to London to go and buy end of year giveaways for a company. The company had ordered what was at that time my biggest order for end of year giveaways, various presents for their customers. And as I sat on Ghana Airways going to London at the time, halfway through the trip, it just struck me that I was going to London to do business, and the company that had asked me to go and do the business for them was a rubbish collecting company. Pause for a moment. Refuse collecting company. Here was I with my degree from Legon, feeling very good. And on the plane to London to go and do business, commissioned by a rubbish collection company. Today, it's not that bad to say that. But at that time, how could you think about refuse management as a nice business? But the lesson for me that day was that I symbolically took out the pounds that I was going to use for the business from my wallet, and then I smelled to smell whether the pounds were smelling of rubbish. It was then that it struck me that money has no scent. So whatever God puts in your hands, it may not be fashionable, it may not be hip. Somebody may think, with your degree, you are going to start a tailoring business or some business that you think is not very, very high profile. But one thing is certain. In Proverbs 14:23, it says, in all labor, there is profit. But mere talk leads to poverty. So let me end on this note by saying that some of the ideas that you will generate may not be very fanciful, may not be very popular, but those ideas may be game changers God has put in your heart to build something that will benefit you, your family, and generations after you. And for those who say, my family has no money and we have no rich benefactor supporting us, let me end with the assets that Mufasa had. 1, a creative idea. 2, a phone. 3, someone else's song. 4, a crazy, compelling dance. And 5, social media. I have a feeling these 5 there, all of us here have it. So there is something in your hands God can use, and may you be inspired in this program to use it and build something beautiful. One thing is certain, if you really, really want to do something, you will find a way. But if you don't want to do it, you will find an excuse. Something I also learned from Minister in our last interaction. Let's put the excuses behind us and build a great nation, great and strong, to the glory of God. Why don't you put our hands together for ourselves? If you believe that you are building that big business with the help of the Lord, that will be the biggest in 10 years' time, 20 years' time. Let's put our hands together for ourselves once again. Thank you once again, and God bless you.
So takeaway doesn't only have to smell like rice and chicken. My takeaway from this presentation is that money has no scent at all. Thank you very much, Executive Coach, Reverend Albert Okran. We're building up slowly to our keynote speaker, our guest mentor. But ahead of that, it gives me great pleasure to welcome, to come and address you for a couple of minutes, the person who is effectively our host, because she is the regional minister for this beautiful region, Bono. Please put your hands together for the Honorable Justina Owusu Banahini.
Honorable Minister of Finance and our special guest of honor, Big Brother Ken, Reverend Albert Okran and Mrs. Comfort Okran of Legacy and Legacy, architects of this wonderful program. The Springboard Road Show theme, resource persons, guest speakers, and moderators are young and budding entrepreneurs, members of the media present, distinguished men and women, and my students all over. I deem it an honor and a privilege to host such high-profile personalities in the Bono region, and more importantly, our purpose of gathering here. On behalf of the Regional Coordinating Council and the chiefs of the Bono people, I wish to formally welcome you all to Sunyani, our regional capital. I take this opportunity to express our heartfelt appreciation to the organizers of this program for the choice of Bono region among 3 regions to host this important national dialogue. Northern region Tamale, Greater Accra, we are grateful. Honorable Minister of Finance and our special guest speaker, I am informed the Springboard Road Show is aimed at providing mentorship to our youth and help harness their potentials among other objectives. And I want to say it is not only the youth, even we, the oldies. It is gratifying to know that the target age bracket of 18 to 35 years, who constitute more than 60% of the country's population, are zealous in pursuit of their dreams and aspirations. And I beg to tell you that my people in the Bono region are no exception. Distinguished men and women, without an iota of doubt, the COVID-19 pandemic has caused much more havoc to economics globally, and Ghana has had her fair share. It therefore gladdens my heart that the theme for the program is centered on repositioning, bouncing back from COVID-19, and finding opportunities. Yes, there are opportunities in the face of COVID-19. And I think our brothers who had the opportunity to mount this platform has shown or has given us the show. The government, under the able leadership of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has put in place numerous policies, initiatives for private sector as well as entrepreneurship development, particularly for the youth. The distinguished men and women, I'm excited by personalities of the Springboard Roadshow. They are accomplished business executives, entrepreneurs, professionals in their own domain, and most importantly, they are willing to impart their life experiences, direct and guide you and expose you to the wide range of opportunities that we seem to ignore, including government policy initiatives for entrepreneurial skills development. I am confident that at the end of this encounter, we all, especially the youth, or the freshest youth that we see around, will be better informed, educated, and equipped to appreciate and explore the numerous opportunities that abound countrywide. There's always a first step. And I want to assure you, the youth, that today in this room, with the presence of our directors here, the missuses, the misters, the reverends, and the Kens, and all of us around, is a first step to a wide range opportunity. Take the opportunity, and our story will also influence others. Once more, you are all welcome. You are welcome home because you've come to meet your mother, who has got the biggest breast to handle you. And so once more, you are welcome and can stay. Thank
you. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Justina Owusu-Banahene. And the law of recency says, I can guarantee 100% what your takeaway is from her presentation. but we won't go there. Before our special guest mentor, we will go with our minds to a place where it's about caring. Obatampa, you know what that means in Chi. And it's significant that she spoke before the next speaker. The next speaker is going to talk to you for a couple of minutes about Ghana Cares Obatampa. Let's put our hands together for Dr. Yao Ansu, who has a couple of minutes to talk to us right now. Dr. Yao Ansu from the Ministry of Foreign Finance. And yes, let's keep the applause going. Let's keep it going. One thing you don't know is that speakers like to hear applause before they speak, so don't stop until he starts speaking. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Yes, Sunyani, more vim. Dr. Ansu, your audience, sir.
Good morning. My name is Yao Ansu. I'm Senior Policy Advisor to the Minister for Finance. And I'm very happy to be here because I was born and raised in Abisim and also grew up in a house within walking distance from here. So it's very nice to be back, to be with you, and thanks to Springboard's program for making it possible. It is March, April 2020. COVID has hit. Businesses were closed down, there was lockdown, there was fear and uncertainty. And then the president gathered his cabinet, including regional ministers, at Pedroase, and to strategize about how to respond. And this is what he said. He said, COVID, instead of despairing and yielding to fear, the president gave an inspirational speech. And I quote other things that he said. He says, COVID-19 gives us an opportunity to recreate our country, an opportunity to do something meaningful. This is a challenge we must seize. This, in effect, is what Springboard is saying here. It's an opportunity to reposition our country. This is what our president said when he gathered his cabinet and his government at Pedroase Lodge at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. And he charged the Honorable Minister for Finance, Ken, to assemble a group within his government to produce a strategy, Ghana's economic response to the COVID. And I was fortunate enough for the Honorable Minister to ask me at a technical level to lead the effort. We gathered together a wide array of people, business people, academics, young people, and actually over a number of months came up with what we called the COVID-19 Alleviation and Rehabilitation of Enterprises Support Program, the Ghana Cares Obatampa program. And I'll give a very quick highlight of what we're trying to do. And you will find that a lot of what this program is trying to do is actually meshes very closely with creating opportunities for the youth in Ghana to actually make use of their God-given talents. COVID-19 is actually, the Cares Obatampa program falls into two categories. The first part was, if you remember back in 2020, there was so much uncertainty. So the big question was, how do we actually end the year intact, protect our people, make sure that there's enough food to eat, make sure that they can afford the basic necessities of life. And you all remember all the initiatives that the president in his weekly addresses rolled out, free water, electricity and stuff. Some of them the minister will go into when he gives his address. The second part is once we stabilize and we show that people are more or less okay, how then do we look forward to make sure that we quickly rebuild and recreate, regain the growth trajectory envisaged of the Ghana Beyond Aid? Next, please. So we drew up a program that the revitalization phase is based on a number of pillars. One, we found out that during the COVID, global supply chains were down. And we realized as a country, for instance, about about half of our poultry consumption is from imports. A big part of our tomato production consumption is from imports. A big part, over 60% of our rice consumption is import. 60% of our medicines and drugs are imported. So what will happen to us as a nation if all of a sudden global supply chains collapse? So the question is, some of these things we can actually produce here, save foreign exchange, create job opportunities for our young and also some old, and actually create employment. So we decided that rather than cast our eye too wide, let's just focus on some very specific areas. And one is what we say, food import substitution. Do you know that the amount that Ghana uses to import food every year, close to about $2 billion, is almost the same as what we earn from cocoa? Many of these foods we can grow here, save foreign exchange, create jobs. So we decided we are going to target rice, poultry, sugar, tomatoes, and also
See, if we're doing a TV show, we'll go for a commercial break at this time, you know. So you go to the commercial break and then you come back and then we're back. So the commercial break was sponsored by Springboard Roadshow Foundation. Coming to you live from Sunyani, and Dr. Yawansu is taking it all the way home.
Okay.
Let's appreciate him.
Okay. So we also said that in addition to the food import substitution, we also said that we have to do something about our pharmaceutical industry. We have capacity here, but it's about only 40% utilized. So the question is, why don't you give them support so that we can actually support our businesses, create jobs, and also make ourselves more resilient in case global supply chains will go down. And the next one is textiles and garments. When we face this thing, all of a sudden, one of the young women, the people in our team producing, was a young woman that has, in fact, two people, have textiles and garments factories that actually seized the opportunity and were producing PPEs. If they can respond to PPEs, why don't we give them some support so that they can actually produce things for the market and also export? So we included textiles and garments. And by the way, most countries that have industrialized, it started with textiles and garments because there's always the demand. Technology is simple, so that's also part of the CARE's focus. Next, please. Another area which the program is focusing on, which will be a delight to all of you in this room and also watching this program, is to try to build the technology and digital economy. We notice that there are a lot of young Ghanaians that are very talented and well educated and very interested in the tech area. And also the technology in terms of, we find that in Ghana, every little thing that involves machine, from the simplest thing to that, everything has to be imported. We don't make hardly any machines in this country. So we decided as a nation, and in fact the president was very, very emphatic about this, we need to develop an engineering capability in this country, and we also need to make Ghana a tech hub in the Africa region. So that's another focus of the CARES program. Another one very much related. As you know, the Vice President and the rest of the government have unveiled a number of very important digital solutions to make government more efficient. You know, the digital address system, the national ID system, the Ghana.gov program, and all kinds of stuff. So yes, why don't you integrate them and really leverage and get more value from it? So that's another focus of the CARES program. And you can see in all of this, there are a lot of business opportunities for the youth who are tech savvy, who have passion in the tech industry. Next. Another big thing, and this is something that Ken always keeps saying, as a nation, we have about 2 million deficits in housing, both in the rural areas and the urban areas. This is a challenge, but it's also an opportunity. Imagine a vibrant construction industry across the country. And the construction industry is very labor intensive, produces a lot of jobs. A lot of the materials that are used also come from the cement and the clay come from the country. If we build an engineering industry and also with the aluminum and stuff that the government is producing, we can have a lot of the inputs also produced here. This is a huge machine for job creation and also for improving the lives of the people. So that's another focus of the CARES program. The next is to really also to try to establish Ghana as a manufacturing hub of West Africa and indeed the African continent, leveraging on basically our democracy, peace and stability, and the English language and all the goodwill that Ghana has in the world. And so we want to make this country a financial services, international financial services hub of West Africa. We also want to make it the manufacturing hub of the sub-region. And in fact, already work is going. I don't know how many of you know that VW trucks are being produced as we speak in Ghana. And there are about 4 other companies that have signed an agreement with Ghana. Toyota is in the process of trying to build its assembly plant. Sinotruck is coming in, Nissan is coming in, and we want to leverage it through FDI into other manufacturing jobs that many of you, when you come out of school, will be interested in working in. And then, of course, we have our oil and gas. I don't think we should continue for 50 years from now. All we're doing is just having foreigners come and dig our oil and export it, and nothing happens. So we're going to use it as a petrochemical hub. It could be the basis for petrochemical industry to producing plastics and a lot of chemical products. And then we also want to make Ghana, when I say we, under the CARES program, government, a logistics hub for shipping, airlines, and stuff. And so, I mean, it is a very ambitious program. And to do it, there's a number of things that have to change. We call the key enablers. And a big part of that, which many of you will interest you, is finance. We need to create an ecosystem where if a young person or any person wants to do business in Ghana, it is possible to get finance, in particular long-term finance, that would allow them to start their business. And a number of things are being done in this area, including the development bank, which probably the minister would elaborate a bit on. We are also strengthening the venture capital in this trust fund. There's the GATT, which is strengthening Agricultural Development Bank and other banks, and also some plans to strengthen EXIM and others. And another thing that actually has been working for the past 2 years, the GERSO, Ghana Incentive-Based Rural Scheme for Agricultural Lending. It provides guarantees so that people, it can encourage people to go to agriculture. Only 4% of bank lending goes to agriculture in this country. And we say we're an agricultural country, we need to add value to our products. So we're trying to encourage lending to agriculture, and that's working very well. So far, about 60 companies are being helped. So that's finance. We also want to strengthen the business environment. And this way, we want to give Ghana a good place for doing business. And then I think on Wednesday, the Honorable Minister for Trade and Industry will be inaugurating the Ghana Enterprise Agency, which is the strengthened MBSSI, which will really take to another level government support to small businesses in this country. And then there's also a number of things to try to increase skills beyond school, to provide skills so that it helps you start, either start your own businesses or to actually to be employable in the industries that are being set up. And lastly, as you saw a few minutes ago, we need to improve the reliability of our power system in the energy sector. So there are a number of things to try to reform the power sector to make it more reliable so that when we have functions like this, we don't have these embarrassing moments. And also, power supply will become reasonable, cheap in the region so that manufacturers would want to come in here and set up their factories as we to enable us to realize our dream of making Ghana a manufacturing hub, and also provide, improve the welfare of Ghanaian customers who use electricity. So those are the key enablers that government is working on. Quickly, we hope that, for the past few years, every year, about almost 300,000 young people come out of secondary and tertiary institutions. Only about 10% found job in the formal sector. We are hoping that by the end of the CARES period, at the end of 2023, we can raise this 10% to hopefully about 30%. It's very significant. It may not, it's modest, but it's threefold increase. And if we can get that done, then we just really create the momentum. And I'm sure that then moving from 30% to 60 or 70% will be much easier than moving from say 10% to 20% or 30%. So that's, at the end of it all, it has to translate in money in people's pockets. And the way it gets into money in people's pockets is for them to have good jobs. And so in order to achieve all these ambitious goals, we are targeting to spend for about 100, to attract 100 billion cedis over the next 3 years to support the CARES of Atampa program. 30 billion cedis of that will have to come from the government or public sector. This means that a lot of reforms in revenue mobilization and also a lot of reforms in how we use money. And there are a number of programs already in train that the minister is driving to try to make sure that we get that. In addition, we have to really attract private sector investment. And the minister, working with GIPC and other sectors, other sections in government, are really working hard to put in place specific programs to make sure that we target and attract both domestic and foreign investors so that we can realize the ambitious objectives of Ghana Cares of Atampa. So, in a nutshell, Ghana Cares of Atampa, basically, I think they were listening to Reverend Okran. We aim to reposition Ghana after COVID and to really drive the economic transformation that the Ghana Beyond Aid envisages. And so, with that, I'll end here. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yao Anso, Senior Policy Advisor to the Minister of Finance for the Republic of Ghana, for your presentation on the Ghana Cares of Atampa program. It's now time for us to listen to our special guest mentor, and Reverend Albert Okran talked to us about his association with the Springboard Roadshow Foundation, the Springboard Roadshow from way back 20 years ago. And he's here to deliver an address, a keynote address to you. So with a huge round of applause, kindly rise to your feet as we welcome our special guest mentor, the Honorable Minister for Finance, Honorable Ken Ofori Atta. Yes, Sunyani. Hello, Sunyani. Hello, Sunyani. All right.
Thank you, but please let's sit down. Let's sit down. Great. It's really good to be here. Regional Minister, Awo Vanahine Obatampa. That was it. So let me really thank you for, spending this Monday with us, and it's just really heartwarming to see all of you here. So Kafui, you're with us again, and we thank you for the good work that you continue to do for the youth. And for Springboard, Albert and Comfort, I can't say more. I'm just really excited about what started some 15, 20 years ago. And today we are here. And really the opportunity for me to rediscover my first love, which is entrepreneurship and youth. I thank you really for this opportunity. As we've all said, we've really been destabilized by COVID in many, many ways. But I think the vision that the president has put us in good stead to be a step, ahead of all of that. And I feel truly, truly blessed to be the finance minister at this time, to be given the opportunity to help us bridge ourselves going forward. So with the 3 universities here, I think it's really a hotbed to challenge you, to have faith in your country, to have the passion. And what I dread most is this poverty of aspiration, where you get talked down by negative thoughts, and before long, the locusts have eaten all that we could do, either from outside or from ourselves, or from the environment, such as a COVID. So Catholic University, University of Energy, Natural Resources, and Sunyani Technical University, we say a big thank you for spending time with us. I mean, clearly, like all other places, including Tamale that I went to last week, we all have our challenges. But it's really intriguing, the quality of people in the universities. I think some maybe 1,400 students graduated in March this year, close to 50-60% had either first class or second class upper. I think you should clap for yourselves, but it really goes to suggest that we don't have a paucity of talent, and therefore we have lots of tools in our hands. And how do we use these tools and not bury them is the question, even given the issues that we have to confront. Yeah. So we have a situation where 70% of the total Ghanaian population is under 35, compared to a global average of 57%. And at least 109,000 students are coming out of the tertiary institutions each year. On average, you have about, in Africa, some 20 or 16 million youth, coming out into the job market, of which 83% do not have jobs. So that's really the challenge for Africa, and it's a similar challenge, therefore, for Ghana, which we have to address. And what Dr. Ansu described is really our bridge to creating a more socially just, social mobility, skilled, talented, and confident people to take on a world that is in our palm, whether from our bedrooms or wherever it is, because the world has truly opened up. But I think it's significant for us to note the challenge that all youth have globally. So in Sunyani, I mean, we have a real case for agribusiness and manufacturing that must be exploited because it is right here. And then how are we going to link the Ghana Cares program to make sure that the enablers that you need, are available, financial infrastructure, digitalization, an ecosystem that really helps you de-risk the business that you want to do and give you the confidence to also start. So for Sunyani, I was talking to the regional minister, and she was lamenting me about the cashew business, whose price has just really plummeted. And therefore, with the inauguration of the Tree Authority, how are we going to manage to incentivize the farmers and new entrepreneurs to get into that business? I think we mostly are exporting the raw material to Indians, and therefore, with the disruption of the global supply chain, we are stuck in what we should be doing. But entrepreneurship is not easy. I mean, it's just fraught with failure. On average, entrepreneurs fail about 4 times before they finally get onto something. So you have to start so that you count your 3 or 4 very quickly, and then move on to the next. But you can't be asleep. A little sleep, a little slumber, and those who read the Bible, what will happen to you? Poverty will come at you like an armed man, and we can't afford that. So you look at people like Thomas Edison, in terms of coming up with the electric bulb, failed 10,000 times. And he said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that don't work. Okay. So the hope, the aspiration must continue. So we thank God for your lives, and we thank God that we should be able to inspire you to move on to the next level. Hello? There we go. Thank you very much. So, I mean, we're just talking about Thomas Edison and electricity 10,000 times, and, he moved right on. But really, as finance minister, there are a lot of things thrown at you. But when you look at really where the country is going to go, you must recognize that without a strong policy orientation towards the youth, the future is bleak, not because we just say it for saying sake, not because. For the mic?
Lighting, right? It's lighting, but it's not coming.
Yeah. Let us stay on.
I'm wondering. I'm wondering. Do you want to sit for a while? Let me engage them while we fix this thing.
Yeah?
Yes. And then we'll
How are you going to do that?
No, I'll give out some money. I'll just pick.
They can hear you. Are we good? Great, great, great. So let me do this. I'll try and go through my life story so that you see how unlikely it is that I'm standing here today. Then we'll talk a bit about the COVID and really look at the issue of poverty of aspirations so you can reposition yourself to dig deep into who you are, the hope, and the fact that even Ken can be here today. So, you know, I grew up in Chebi, which is some 55 miles from Accra, but really those days very, very far away. And I was also born out of wedlock, and my young mom had to escape from Chebi to Kumasi because she would have been forced to have an abortion. You know, she was young, and my dad was from the royal home and was in university. And so the popular belief was that, you know, the young woman had trapped him and was going to ruin his life. And just because of a deep belief, she felt strongly enough that she just kind of ran out of town. And thank God she decided to keep the baby. So here I am, you know, in Sunyani, talking to you. And so thanks to the strength of a woman in a village in Chebi, in terms of your conviction. So if you're a young woman listening, this is a challenge for you to be strong in your convictions, believe in who God has made you, and you could end up doing something great with your life or giving it to someone like me, which then will affect generations of lives, you know, to come. So our value construct is going to be very important. So grew up in Chebi with my grandmom and mom. It was a very liberating life, but lots of different ways that I just would never have dreamt to be here. So of course, you know, typical village, you wake up early in the morning, go to the water, get water from the river, you know, get your fire going, cook some plantain, put it in your pocket, and then walk that 1 mile to school. You know, very free and just not knowing what is happening. At which point, all of that time, I had never really met my dad because they'd been keeping away from this abominable incident. But when he came back from his studies abroad. I don't know what, hit him, but he decided to take responsibility for that. So then I moved from my Chebi Experimental, Newton, the Kaki schools, into Dad's house of his new wife, or of his wife, and my two new brothers. So imagine coming from Chebi, where now you are in this house where they use fork and knife to eat. I mean, how do you even learn how to put in your right or your left hand? And then you have things like toasted bread and cornflakes. Very difficult adjustment. After walking with cocoyam in your pocket, and sauntering off to school. And that there was something amazing, in Chebi where I just don't know, as much as I could run away from school, I will. And I'll go and sit at the hospital just watching patients. Or in the best days, I'll go to Brim and just swim all day. Of course, by the time you get home, your body is really all white. So grandma knows that one goes to school, and the long rod will be pulled at you, with such abandon. So that was that. And then, so with that, recognizing that a mistake had been made, and being bold enough, to let his wife know, was how, I then got through from the Kakis to Legon Primary, because he became a professor at the economics department. So you can imagine the steep climb from home in terms of speaking English and all of that, and a renaming. I was called Nanayao, which, I knew how to spell. And then they said, oh, now you are Kenneth. Almost like, a Saul to Paul incident. I had to learn how to spell Kenneth and be with all these people who spoke a lot of English. But that's what happened. So I really thank Dad for that one brave move. And so you can call it, the first lesson, how you make a mistake, you pick yourself up, dust yourself down, and repositioning his family for the future. Then I went through Achimota School. This is all between 10 and 20, and got great, results for my O-levels. I think I got too happy and giddy. And so my A-levels were miserable. I mean, really miserable. And I had to start teaching at Accra Academy, and all of that with my friends. And Dad then was in Parliament at that time. And he was so miffed because for him, nobody fails in the house. And he was known to be very smart. So I became his driver. And would take him around, sit in the car when he had meetings at lunch, but actually also sit in Parliament a lot in the balcony, waiting for him to finish. And that was interesting learning, just looking back in terms of the debates and what was going on. So essentially, that failure exposed me to things that I didn't know. But I think after a point, I realized that the A-levels, Charlie, were too difficult. So let's see whether one can find a way to go to America. So I did the SATs and all of that, and really got blessed by God's grace to get into Columbia in New York. So that was a second chance. One from the village, and then two, being given the second opportunity to go. So, you failed in an exam or a business venture, you are not alone. I know how it feels. The lesson here clearly is to have a deep belief in oneself that it is possible. You just have to have faith in yourself and the confidence to do what you want to do. And that's really important. You have to believe that God's image is in you, and so you cannot really fail. And that what he purposes for you, if you stick to it, certainly a success that he wants to be given to you. So that was 10 to 20, then when I shifted. And then to 20 to 30 was, of course, in the US. I went to Columbia with a scholarship. And then when I was finishing, I think it was the Reagan era, Wall Street was booming. They were all over campus recruiting and got swept into it. So that gave me a certain exposure to the capital markets that truly was a phenomenal opportunity. So I began to come very close to entrepreneurs with ideas, some failing, some progressing, lots of billionaires who lived simple lives. I think one of our clients was Warren Buffett, and he used to sit in economy. You know, had had his old Mercedes for 20 years, and just, you know, you began to redefine what it is that God puts in your hand and how you should use it. So that was an opportunity to learn high finance, and that really was a rare opportunity because there were very few of us blacks or Africans on Wall Street, and it gave us a glimpse into how money can be multiplied and how you use money to support entrepreneurs so that they can create value for the society. Then somewhere around 30, I decided to run the New York Marathon. It's a crazy decision, but I was also an athlete when I was in secondary school at Achimota. So I guess I did. I still have a picture of me crossing the finishing line in 5 hours. It's just a very painful memory at that. But anyhow, you know, by the time you finish that race, you know, you are acid-filled, you know, you've gone through sort of carbo loading before the race to get all this energy. And during the race, you actually do hit a wall where you have to decide whether to go on or not. And it takes, you know, some mental discipline to say, I'm going to continue, because you are hurting, you know, beyond measure. So of course, the next day I didn't go to work. I stayed home in bed, and it was also close to my birthday. So this was in '89, and I mean, the question just dawned on me. So am I stuck in this country? Because I was pretty happy being a New Yorker, you know, a Wall Street person, and life was pretty good. I was actually on the verge of even marrying a Jewish woman from California. So Ghana, it was out of my, you know, my thinking altogether. Then one day, Professor Kwapong, who used to be Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, former Chairman of the Council of State, came to New York and saw me quite happy with my girlfriend. And, you know, he pulled me aside after that and said, so when are you coming home? I'm not home. And he said, oh, now this shit to say, oh, I had it over higher then. I would say, wow. And he was very scathing that, you know, you have a responsibility at home and that should be the first thing. So, you know, it leaves the seed in your mind and you become restless and you are beginning to now contemplate the whole security of being in New York and being in Wall Street somehow became contrived and quite ephemeral. And your sense of stability was now really challenged. So I decided to come and visit Ghana because I hadn't been since I left in 1980, and this was 89 going to 90. So I took my first trip to come just under a decade. And, you know, saw my friends, and I was really surprised about the sense of comfort that pervaded almost some scales had been left off your eye or even in your heart, to begin to understand that, hey, this is home, this is primary, environment. And but then the question was, what am I going to do? There was no capital markets here. That the financial industry was pretty not really sophisticated. So I had to contend with all of these questions, and then thinking also of marrying and all of that. So New York suddenly became sort of a leviathan. You knew it just couldn't continue, but you became rudderless. And I wasn't a Christian, practicing Christian at that time, so I didn't have the anchor, of God to begin to ask for support. And I was asking myself, so what was I coming to do in Ghana? After all, you just don't get up and go. But I'm sure if I'd read the Bible, I know that Abraham just got up and went. And I would have had, the courage to do that. But anyway, started talking with Kelly and Togbe Afed and a few friends that maybe we should just give it a shot. What is there to lose? We can always come back to New York. But the question was, an investment bank in Ghana, how do you start a capital markets program in Ghana? But, somehow we closed our eyes to it and decided to take the big leap. So the decision to come home had to be really very personal, very, very deep. And your decision to be an entrepreneur has to be personal and very, very, very deep. Yeah. And so here we were in an environment where the politics was difficult because I had this Oforiatta name, which was not good for that regime, and all of that. So you had a problem with the politics and what to do. You had, also the experience of the A-levels, which had not been great. And then also the experience of a mother, experience of a father, and putting all of that together. And then, of course, what Professor Kwapon also did, to just clear the scales of your eye so that you can really see things differently. And that's the issue of mentors. So having a mentor in your life at crucial moments, what's that wow moment, that one moment that you should think of and really internalize and think through it, that it can happen. So then you come to build an investment bank, and you have no money, lots of experience, and you need people in your lives, who would help you. So we got an office in my cousin's construction company in Kantamanto. Kantamanto is where you start an investment bank. It's impossible with one room. But we were precocious, we were excited about it, we had passion, and I guess, wow. I think you should leave it on the generator.
We're going to do some recording.
All right. Much for your patience. I mean, that's the beauty of moving from the ministry to come out and see what is really happening, outside, different from cabinet discussions. Yeah, so it's good. It's good to be here. So, so you start a company where, you want to be an investment bank, no money, 3 people, very excited about the future. And you go through periods where you have to borrow. I mean, certainly you can't pay yourself, so that's out. And you even have to borrow money to get payroll going. And people come through your life, So Afari Donko and Fred Owari, I think he's in charge of the Bui Dam, were the people who facilitate after 2 years, $25,000 for us to keep going. And you don't start an investment bank of $25,000. Dr. Ishmael Yamson was then CEO of Unilever and gave us opportunities to do, some work, and that helped us to really begin to get our name in the marketplace. And then also, Dad was really known for being smart and, articulate. So when you go to places that they don't even like you, they knew him, and that gave you an entry into the way to then ply your trade. So honoring one's parents is really crucial, in terms of the blessings that may come with that. And we know that all things work together for good for those who love the Lord. And this is a really important lesson. Things may look really bleak and grim, but truly, with an open heart of gratitude and a passion for what you are doing, things will change. And then we learned quite a bit. I remember we went to the Bank of Ghana to give them, it was a seminar on savings, etc. But by the time we finished, I think we were too small for them to even consider us. And then 5 of the employees decided to give us 5 CDs each. I mean, we thought we were big people. That, well, if we believe that we can help grow this money, then here's 5 CDs each from all of them, which is 25 times 5, and 5 times 5, 25 CDs. And see what you can do. So you kind of felt a little insulted and all of that. But, we held our breath and said, sure, we'll take the challenge. And that was the beginning of the formation of what we call EPAC Mutual Fund. That 5 CDs, which we respected, and then took it up. And now EPAC, is now an African mutual fund. And that also opened our eyes to the fact that, you can actually pull away from government business. Because if you do this work well, the people who walk in are devoid of politics. They just want their money to grow. And suddenly, we realized that we were liberated from walking the corridors of the ministries because now we're focusing on asset management so that we can grow. So you can see how not to despise small beginnings. And it re-emphasized again the issue of how you start, where you come from, and you feel very disadvantaged. Something will come through, a failure in an exam, something will come through, it gives you. So today, when I go to Parliament, suddenly you recall, you know, those 30, 40 years ago when you were sitting in the balcony, just completely frustrated, and support what we are doing now. And then Data Bank, starting from this little office in Cantamanto, and today it's got about 500,000 clients, and also managing near $1 billion equivalent of money, and that's just after 30 years, you know, where we are. So do not despise small beginnings. So things may look really like, you know, you're out of it, you know, where am I going to go? But really honor the little things that are given to you as an opportunity, that God will lead you, that work hard, have passion on it, and really don't let anybody take your future into their hands. It's just not the way to do it. So either you yourself, you know, are dispirited, which is killing your purpose in life, or others are coming to you, like the spies who went and came, and 10 of them just really destabilized Israel and tell them to keep away, you know, from your life, or the COVID, you know, which really has wreaked havoc in the world, and just say, what am I purpose for, and what is in me? What tools do I have that I can leverage to do that, irrespective of what is happening around you. And for you at this time, there's technology. You are in a great environment where agriculture can be exploited in a way that hasn't been. And we as a government, as Yao mentioned, trying to put in place the enablers to ensure that we de-risk the environment so that you can do a lot more than we were able to do. And I have people who have walked, you know, your walk, and therefore not some esoteric things that we are thinking about, but real empathy on where to go. So 30 to 40 was then a period of construction and building this company. And we were really very bold, you know, big, hairy, audacious goals, teaching ourselves to manage a company that we hadn't done before, and just the whole idea of this adrenaline flowing and realizing that yes, from where we started from, we actually are building an institution that is impacting people's lives to a high degree. So then we got to the 40 to 50 area, and that's when one began to ask oneself some very critical questions as to, you know, what this life was all about, and to begin to read about people like Jean Monnet, who really turned around and created the European Union by understanding how to bring people together so that their best interests, enlightened self-interest, you know, came up. And then I joined the program that Albert was talking about, you know, the Aspen Henry Crown program. And that took us through, you know, people who had changed societies. So you look at a Gandhi and you say, wow, I mean, he was invited by the middle class from South Africa to get back to India. He saw what they were doing, and he decided to take a train ride around India to really understand the lot of his people. And when he came back from that trip, he had a different strategy as to how to tackle this problem. You have the Martin Luther Kings who fought the civil rights war. and found a solution. The Henry Fords, who built the Ford motor vehicle. So you then begin to see that, in each society, there are some intractable problems, but with good leadership, and passion for country, there can be a solution. And that really was very helpful in terms of thinking of continuing and really ingraining oneself with this passion for God, country, and family. Knowing that you are here to be able to give and really expand people's opportunities for them to realize their God-given skills. But people like that also always found space. And Jean Monnet will go to his village and then just, walk around so that he had the mental space, to stop, to look, to listen, to his inner self and educate himself as to the way forward. And we should give ourselves space. Even Jesus went to the Garden of Gethsemane, he crossed the river to be out there, because it allows you to reflect and see what talents you have and how best to utilize it, and your responsibility as a citizen and to your family also becomes important, because a lot has been invested in you, whether it was a difficult process or not, and you cannot bury that in the sand. So, I listen to journalists, and of course, their first responsibility is to inform, to educate, and also to entertain, which kind of primarily is fine. But when you're in a nation like this, beyond that is also to think about national cohesion. What is it that takes us together as one people to make sure that we go to where we should? So there's something you can always do to move forward. I remember recently meeting the leaders of the hashtag Fix Ghana, and it was really very interesting, because I told them that I'm assuming that all of what they are doing was in respect of promoting the Republic to be a stronger place. So we all have a common agenda. A question of speed and strategy is something that we can debate about. But really, is it a matter of demonstration? So what will happen if you demonstrate and it triggers into an Arab Spring? Now, is that helping the nation? Are we moving forward as a people? Have we killed various dreams because of one event? Knowing very well that you have the backdrop of a COVID that has affected, I think there are 113 million jobs that were lost in Africa, and about 40 million driven into poverty. Most of these Francophone countries reduce, wages, laid off about 25% of their workers, and also half of them had reduced wages, and Ghana had been able to hold it together. So is that all under consideration as to how relatively we have done well? Of course, there's more to do. And also the issue of ascribing, every issue to politicians, when you know that when you go to the ministry or you go to the hospital or you go, it's not the politician who is there. It's your father, your uncle, or whatever who is not being efficient. So a huge part of this problem that we have in Ghana is also something that can be ascribed to ourselves as to discipline, as to working for our wages, as to giving our best. So when you look at the Ghana Beyond Aid program, it really sort of rests on three pillars. One being we as our people, our ethics, our values, our self-discipline, are protecting the public purse wherever we are. Then 2 being CSOs, students, politicians coming together to agree, on really a wide berth of things that we as a country must do. And then we can argue, on the margins of that. But we seem to be arguing about everything, so you are going to bring the machinery of state, to a halt. Is that what we should be doing? And the third element is the economic transformation, which under Dr. Ansu's leadership, we have put together to take us to this new level that we believe Ghana deserves and Ghana must have. So at 50 to 60 was then the decision to transition from corporate life to public life. That was also interesting because I felt deeply that the economy was not going anywhere. We'd been blessed with a good business, and is one just going to be happy being CEO and chairman of Data Bank, quietly in my corner looking after myself and my family, or whether there was something that one could offer to intervene to get our country going. And so we did that. But I think that was an important decision in terms of now bringing everything together and asking myself, what does God really want you to do? And in all of these things, there are incidents that occur. And when I finally left Data Bank in 2012, for example, it was because I had embolism, some blood clots in my lungs, and went to hospital for a few days, almost reminiscent of being in New York and the acid in my body and staying to think about it. And when I left the hospital, I realized that, I was just too happy being the CEO, and God wanted me to do something else. So I quit from Data Bank without a clarity of what to do. And that's when I decided to also help our president with his political career for fundraising and strategy, etc. So you can see how events also come into your life and how you should then really listen hard to say what is it telling you. And you may be moving to uncharted territory, but you can get up and go because you have faith in yourself and in what the Lord can do for you. Then recently, I had COVID, and it was quite serious. Got out of that, and then the post. Wow. Okay. So, at this juncture, got this post-COVID experience syndrome that was difficult to understand. And that also gave me some time to reflect as to what really is the future, what does God want you to do, and what do you do beyond 60. And this is a question I guess each of us must constantly ask, and I'm sure it will resonate with you. So this is where I am, a life that was unlikely, and now standing here as finance minister, which for me, with the grades and the education that you have had, makes, things limitless. There's just, it's not that there's a limit to where you can go if really you have the passion to do what you want to do, and do not let the locusts, eat up your future. So just keeping hope alive, making sure that you believe in what is happening, and trusting that with passion things can happen. Will you fail? Yes, you will. But you have to dust yourself up, pick yourself up. How do you honor people? How do you honor your parents? How do you get mentors to push you through difficult moments? And how do we, as government, ensure that we de-risk your environment so that you can move faster? And I think one of the areas that we are clear on is the issue for Obatampa of how do we get resources into your hands in a much easier way than we are having now. But we must continue with consolidation of the economy. Stable, people tell you, I don't eat inflation and everything. Wait till inflation becomes a raging issue. So inflation, foreign currency, etc., become really important to stabilize. We need to find ways to get resources into your hands. We need to change the Ghanaian platform so digitalization is easy and you can operate in the world in which you are in. And that's what we are looking to do with Obatampa. So, for example, in the financial services, we intervened right at the beginning with the reconstruction of the banks. There was a great misunderstanding, about that. But you look at the banks today, and it's just a much stronger financial system than we can. Then we also realized the death of long-term capital, because really it's not commercial banks that build, industry and build entrepreneurs. They give working capital. So the need to find an intervention that will bring in equity and long-term capital is what we've been fighting and looking to construct something. And here also, Dr. Nsu and Co. introducing this development bank, which will be a wholesale bank, to be able to, at some point, be able to attract its own financing from outside and then feed into the various financial institutions here, venture capital, banks, Exim Bank, etc., so that business can then go on with appropriate long-term capital. And then tomorrow, Wednesday, the launching of the Ghana Enterprises, which will bring MBSSI and all of those together, so that we'll be more effective in channeling resources, both technical assistance and money to you, as we did during the COVID period, and it's continuing. I think it was 600 to 750 million, and over 122,000 people have benefited from that, and so we should. So really, as a center-right party, our issue is to shrink government in a sense, even though government should become an entrepreneurial machinery, so that it can support you and de-risk the elements, and that the private sector becomes where you go. I shouldn't be employing 700,000 people who then take close to 60% of the revenue that you generate. It can't be right, so we have to shrink. But then the private sector, through people like you, must be able to employ 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and then build the capacity to get these decent jobs out there, which we are looking to support very, 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 very avidly. So that's our challenge, as a country. How do we create this environment to give you access to capital, access to technical assistance, access to the platform of technology, so that you can master your trade and have your God-given skills grow with you. And that's the challenge. But I guess the principal issue here is to let you know that it's really never over until you give up. And there's just so much in you as people. There's just so much talent that the Lord has given you, and you have to not be despondent about it and really just say, look at even Ken, look at where he is. Because the beginnings and even the middle were not that great, but with perseverance we can do that. And government, in truth, has been deeply thinking about all of these to make sure that you have a better environment to do what we have to do. So my discussions with the hashtag Fix the Country was, really, if you look at what has occurred in terms of what we did in 2020, where we are compared to other African countries or even globally, and what the problem is, it is universal, and therefore, join us to really fix it. But to do that, you must also have a real faith in yourselves that it can happen, and all of the things that are said can be reinterpreted in a way in which you leverage off of it, as opposed to let it keep you in bed. So, what is your identity? What is the purpose for which you are here? Where are you in this life journey? Your location in that. What resources do you have in your hand? And be really, exhaustive about appreciating what you have and not belittling, and do not despise, small beginnings or things that you think are not. And then the issue of mentorship, such as Springboard is doing, and other people who come into your life, to really think about the advice they give. And then your own reputation, integrity, hard work, etc., so that you can excel in what you do. The experiences you go through, which may be very negative, but truly becomes positive when you turn it around and let it motivate you. The learnings, learning about how these leaders, took intractable societal problems to change their society. How do you take yours, where you are in your location, to create a type of business that you want to? And where do you want to be in the next decade? Your aspirations. What is it that you want to do? And then your faith, so that you don't create your own locus to eat up, where you should be going, and therefore lose chance to be the great entrepreneur that you have to be. So let me end here with something that Ephraim Amu said. Asemi deka. We have to talk about these things. Bahina no beka asem no. And you have to talk about these things. You have to argue out, general perceptions, which puts the onus on government into what is in me. Okay? And I can say, Jumain so de I say, Nahina no beye ejumano. And it is you have to do it. And look at someone like Ken and say, no krempo wa kan fi awa bedu hey. And it means so metimi a lot more than what he has done. So thank you for this opportunity, but we are there for you. I believe that with you, Ghana will be that idea of political emancipation, economic emancipation, a great and confident people who are prosperous, and the black star through you will shine again. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you. Wow. We made it to the end. Thank you very much, Minister of Finance, Ken Oforiatta, for your keynote address. We're going to dive straight into the Q&A, the Q&A and the colloquium. And the topic basically is how young people can navigate their way through the disruption of COVID-19 and find opportunities for entrepreneurship, for business, for career advancement. Let me just announce a telephone number, a WhatsApp number for your questions that you want to ask. 0544 315161. 0544 315161 is the WhatsApp number for the questions. And just to let you know that we have in this audience a whole range of people. So we've got national service personnel here with us. If you are a national service personnel, wave, national service, wave us. Thank you. If you are if you are a nurse or a midwife, or studying to be a nurse or a midwife, let's see you as well. Wave for us. Thank you. Students of Catholic University College, show by hand. Wonderful. Students of University of Energy and Natural Resources, UNR. I was around there this morning. Students of Sunyani Technical University. And if you don't fit in any of those categories, just wave me. Wave. Thank you so much. I'm going to hand over to the moderator for this session, Executive Coach, co-founder of the Springboard Roadshow Foundation, Reverend Albert Okran. He's going to engage the Finance Minister and then take questions from you as well. Remember, the number for the questions is a WhatsApp number, 0544 315161. Over to you, Reverend Okran.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate one more time our Honorable Minister for joining us today. All right, so let's go straight to your questions. And just to remind all of us that you can send in as many questions as you have for the attention of the Honorable Minister. Let me start from, since we in Sunyani and Kumasi and these areas have had quite a feel of minister, both in person and watching online. Let me start from somebody who sends a question all the way from the University of Cape Coast. Christabel is asking, Honorable Minister, is everyone an entrepreneur? If no, what do the others who do not have entrepreneurship skills do? What are they supposed to do? Is everyone an entrepreneur? And if not, then those that don't have entrepreneurial skills, what do they do? This is from Christabel in the University of Cape Coast.
You know, Albert, that's always a difficult question. I mean, because if I look at, I guess, my family, is more lawyers and politicians. But what is entrepreneurship but taking risk? Huh? So the question becomes whether you are prepared to take that risk or you want somebody to take the risk so that you work for the person. Whether you are prepared to take risk or you work for somebody to take that. And in as much as we can create an environment, as many of you can be self-starters and start your businesses, you then hire the 1, 2, or 3 people for them to work for you, because everybody has a risk tolerance. And then, of course, there's the management issues, etc. But I think the world is developing where there are more people ready to take risks as entrepreneurs, because technology is bringing things to their homes.
Let me go to Olivia Ajua Poka. Olivia is concerned about youth who may not have completed their formal education
but who are into their own business. And she says, how do these youth get to know about these opportunities to promote their businesses? Maybe because of the presence of a number of tertiary institutions here, Olivia's assumption is that it is for only those who have had formal education. She's asking about what about those who didn't complete their education but who are doing their own business? Are they part of this whole Obata Blackers initiative?
Yeah. I think that the ecosystem is being created, and therefore this whole launching on Wednesday by the Minister of Trade and Industry is really to bring it all together. I mean, when we gave some resources to MBSI last year, it really cut across the swab, and it had no issue of formal education or non-formal education, but anybody who had a business to be supported was supported. I suspect that we should really get it a lot more sophisticated so that it is broadly evangelized and everybody will know that they have access to it. And so that's our responsibility, to bring it to the people.
Right. There's another question from Daniel Menu from the University of Energy and Natural Resources. I think Daniel will probably be in this room. He's asking, should partnership be the priority for an entrepreneur? And Daniel is asking probably because there's a widely held notion that partnerships are either difficult or they do not work. You've had very successful partnerships. Maybe you want to share your experience about what it takes to do a business partnership.
Yeah, I think one of the key issues is that your values, do meet. Without that, it's just very difficult because then you have different ways of approaching issues. And it's a very difficult environment where lots of compromises, seem to be made. And if you really are sticking to your principles, then make sure that you are yoked with somebody who thinks like you. I mean, if you see that 25% of businesses fail within the first, 2 years, and maybe 65% by the 5th year, it could be anything, bad business or partnerships, and so I think your choice is important, not to make the easy decision now, but to ensure that you have a seamlessness of what your value construct is and how you want to grow your business.
All right, Franklin, stand by because there's one question coming to you at the NEIP next. Maybe pick a microphone and do this one while Minister catches his breath a little. He's been talking for quite a while, so let's give him some space to catch his breath. Give the microphone to Franklin Owusu Karikari from NEIP. Franklin, you mentioned that 18 to 35-year-olds will qualify for tax relief under the NEIP program. The question is, how will this be activated? How do they get to access this tax relief?
All right, so such a person have to apply through NEIP, and there are areas. Your business should be in the area of manufacturing, ICT, agro-processing, energy production, waste processing, tourism and arts, horticulture and medicinal plants. If your business area falls within this category, you qualify. So you write to NEIP with your company registration certificates. You submit to us, then a photocopy of your passport or national ID card. You submit to our office, the NEIP will put a cover letter to it and send it to GRA. And then GRA will offer you the exemption.
All right, let me stay with you, Franklin, because Emmanuel Wongvana from Catholic University is also asking about whether the campus page is only for those who are in business or is also open to students.
The campus page program cuts across all programs, whether in the sciences, humanities, the business programs. You qualify. Once you have any innovative idea that is solving a need, you qualify to pitch.
I hope you heard the two answers. you qualify to pitch. No matter what course you are doing, you qualify to pitch, and that is about the campus pitch program. And let me quickly give one to Philomena Norman, and the question is from Olivia Poker again. She's asking, are there opportunities available to youth with disabilities? Philomena.
Yes, opportunities are available for everyone, including...
If you can bring the mic closer and stand up so they can see you.
Opportunities.
Thank you.
Opportunities are available to everyone, including those with disabilities, and especially women, as well as the vulnerable. And so, just as I said earlier, the business advisory centers are located in all the district assemblies. If you do not know of any district office, just walk into the district assembly close to you, find out from them where the business advisory centers are, and then we'll be of assistance to you.
Right. The two quick questions from Esther from the Catholic University. She's asking, how do entrepreneurs in the rural areas, let me give that to Minister, how do entrepreneurs in the rural areas benefit from these interventions that we are discussing? Mr. Minister.
You're going to fix it? Okay. You know, I think the challenge for government and MBSSI is how do you make this as universal and countrywide as possible, and really an issue of information. You know, what do you do with these rural banks to strengthen them? How do you make sure MBSSI is well represented in these places? What is the technology platform to enable this to occur? How do we give money through Momo to everybody? Because everybody knows how to use it now. And so efficiencies are going to come in place, but our commitment really in terms of the financial intervention is to make sure that these resources are brought back. But I mean, a huge part also depends on us. What is the default rate? You know, do you really respect that money? Are you willing to pay back so that we can spread it? How do we pay our taxes, you know, as a beginning of all of that? But I think, you know, in terms of getting the network out there so that you don't have to come to Accra, but right where you are, there's a clear path to how you can be supported.
Since you mentioned taxes, let me stay with taxes and bring your question from Susanna Dodson, also from the University of Energy and Natural Resources. I think UNR is leading with the questions. Please, Catholic University and Technical University, I want more questions from you. But Susan is asking a question that is of concern to her. Why is it that in the midst of the pandemic, she says, plenty taxes have been imposed on Ghanaians? That's her question.
What has been imposed?
Why is it that in the midst of the pandemic, more taxes have been imposed? That is Susan's question.
Okay. Great. I mean, it's really interesting what we have done this year is to have taxes, I think equivalent to about 2 billion cedis going forward. Now, if you look really at what sometimes the myopia amazes me, because if I look at only electricity and water, insurance for our frontline nurses, the cab bus business, I mean, in the end, it was expenditures, sort of revenue declining by 13 billion and expenditures going up by 11 billion. You know, so we can't put our head in the sand and pretend that we as a nation did not benefit. Okay, then we have the real issue, which is global, and for university students, you can read, you know, to really find out whether this whole idea of burden sharing to go forward is going to be important for us as a nation to pick ourselves up and go up. And I think those become the real questions, in terms of the narrative of trying to understand why, as a nation, we should pay taxes to fix our country. We have a tax to GDP ratio of like 13-14%. Our peers countries have 20%. So if GRA this year commits to 60 billion, which they have, 7% of that is 30 billion. So literally, we have 30 billion that is leaking away or not being collected because I can't find you. But in a year or two, I'm going to have big data. You have a national ID system. I'm going to find you. And when you go abroad, you are very happy to pay all of their taxes. And then when you come here, you are like, well, it should be free. So we ourselves have to move. And that's why the first pillar of the Ghana Beyond Aid is about ourselves, the introspection of how do we get our cities and our country going if we don't want to pay our share of it.
Thank you very much. Let me go to Patricia Kuma from UCC. She's asking, I'm a young entrepreneur who learned liquid soap and shampoo making, but don't have financial support. Where do I start from to get the Obatampa support?
Okay, I think Franklin could help with that. I mean, the issue for us is that, from government, I can't know you, but I can feel you, and therefore I then have policies through MBSSIs or national entrepreneurship, and they have to get efficient so that you can have access to the resources that we are sending to them.
All right, so if the person is in Sunyani here, we have 3 centers. We have 3 centers that the person can go there. We have Sun City Incubation Hub. We have we have a center at UNER, and also we have a Grassroots Hub, which is at Avo, Kenya. We have Valley View, Techiman. All these centers are there. You can walk in and tell them that you are here for the NEIP program, and they will put together and help you with the application. But we have our actual time we did a call for applications. So look out for it and ensure that you can also visit the NEIP website. All the information you need in terms of applying for funding for your small business is available for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And for those of you who are here in person, in the next few minutes, we'll go for the final session, which is the breakout, where you can actually get application forms for some of these interventions. And that will be done with 3 different agencies represented here. And that is the Ghana Enterprises Agency, formerly known as NBSSI, represented by Philomena Norman and her team. You would also have the NEIP, represented by Franklin Owusu Karikari and his team. And then you would have the Ghana Cares program, where Dr. Yawansu and Madame Eva Menz will be available to guide you. So,
Reverend Okran, just quickly, Philomena wanted to just add something to what Franklin just said in the previous response. Yes, so go ahead, give her the microphone.
So I just wanted to add that aside the financial support, normally they would have to go through the technical bits so that they are able to upgrade what they are doing. So for instance, with the liquid soap, she needs to get the certification from the FDA, so she can always walk into NBSSI offices. Understand she's at Cape Coast. We have an office at the Cape Coast Municipal Assembly. She can always walk in there, register so that she can also participate in the progressive licensing scheme as well.
Thank you very much. Last 2 questions for Mr. Minister, or he says call him Ken. So last 2 questions for Ken, and then we will move on to the press interaction and then also the breakout session. So guess what? Maybe Sunyani says, a big thank you to you, Ken, for coming. She's enjoyed you, and now she's saying, you know what? What about her siblings in secondary schools? Can't we add them on to this conversation because they also have entrepreneurial aspirations? So maybe this thanks goes to you, but she's saying, can we now extend this to our second cycle siblings because they also have entrepreneurial ideas? What would be your response,
I think it's an issue of curriculum and maybe really engendering the sense that you are being educated to principally create your own business and not to join immigrations or GRA or police or soldiers. And that begins to change sort of the mindset and attitude, and maybe we should be more aggressive about that. But certainly starting from secondary school, understanding what money means and how far it can go if it is treasured. You remember we had the dues program at Data Bank, which really said that, look, any bit of money that you have, there's a 30-70 formula where you do 10% tight, 10% savings, 10% investment, and then 70% to spend. And you'll be amazed at how the savings and investment over a long period of time, grows to be what it is. But then it changes, your sense of respect for money and how you use it and how important it is. So I think all of those things, as opposed to the extra bottle of Coke that you should buy or ice cream, you suddenly realize that, we can do that. And that would be helpful.
Mr. Minister, would you subscribe to, you mentioned curriculum, would you subscribe to the idea of integrating entrepreneurial awareness and a culture of investment big time in our senior high curriculum?
I would go for that, because really if you are growing a nation in which the youth bulge is so huge, and government is already spending close to 60% of its revenue on public and civil servants, there's really no space, and the private sector should be the engine of that type of growth. But it used to be that you wanted a private sector which can employ 10,000 people. Now it is getting 10,000 people to have their own little businesses and employing 5, 6, or 7 people or 2 people, and suddenly you see the medium, small-scale enterprises being able to take care of themselves. So yeah, it's crucial.
Right. Can there's one quick one from somebody who's very concerned about continuity, and she says, brilliant initiatives. Emmanuel, he's asking whether these initiatives are backed by law and how safe are they, or how secured are they in the event of a change of government?
Yeah.
Those are the concerns of Emmanuel, and if you want to speak to them.
Right. I think that's a really important question because the issue of trust in continuity is important for business. And I guess I sense a certain amount of fear with regards to entrepreneurship as I looked at the audience to say, what is it that we can do to make you comfortable that this will continue? At the very least, we have 3.5 years. And 2 years is sort of the critical path line to sort of get over the hurdle. So instead of continuing with either the cynicism or the lack of belief, is saying that, well, this is the window. And truly, when something is really successful and the populace has embraced it and are having success with it, so you are really the best safety and the best security for this thing to go on. And sitting on the pew doesn't help. You can't continue to be spectators. And I hope that, the story of me sitting here, makes it clear that it is limitless where you can go, and therefore it is worth taking the risk. With somebody from Abisim and somebody from Chebi leading this, we have absolute empathy in what it is that you are facing, and we will do all we can to mitigate the risk. So let's go for it. Let's own it, and before long, it sweeps through the country, and these will not be questions we'll be asking anymore.
I'm going to come back to you, Ken, to wrap up in 5 minutes, but let me take a quick 1-minute comment from Franklin on this the secondary school thing. You're holding a pamphlet in your hands. I'm going to give you half a minute for the pamphlet, and then also half a minute to mention this opportunity for people to do their national service for themselves. You said it earlier on, but the numbers are bigger now, and the media is live listening to this. I would like young people across the country to hear about that wonderful opportunity you mentioned earlier on from the NEIP for national service. So if you could take the first one about secondary schools.
So, thank you, Albert. We have a program called the SEA, Student Entrepreneurship Initiative, and we brought down the entrepreneurship initiative to the high school students. So the pamphlet we shared to all of you is the beginner's guide to entrepreneurship, and we want these young people to begin to have the paradigm shift right from there, and it's beginning to yield the results. Just a month ago, we had a boot camp for 100 girls in robotics, engineering, entrepreneurship, mathematics, and arts. And it's amazing the stuff these young girls are bringing up. In December, we are hosting 2,000 SHS in boot camp for the various entrepreneurship initiatives they've done within the period. So far, we have covered 100 high schools. If not the COVID, we've done about 500 by now. And we hope to cover all the over 700 high schools in Ghana for them to begin form the entrepreneurship clubs on their campuses. So we have the systems in place to ensure that we get that done. And to our friends in the tertiary institutions, opportunity is here for all of us. To begin, once you identify a good initiative and you are ready to move into it fully, you will send, when you fill your national service application form, send a copy to NEIP. When you send to us, we'll take a look at your business plan, help shaping it up, and we'll get a National Service Secretary to post you to NEIP. Then we post you to your business. And we keep monitoring you within the 1 year period whilst you work on your business idea and you get your national service allowance paid to you. Then after the 1 year, if your business idea is ripe, NEIP funded to scale it up. Thank you.
Too good. Let's put hands together for the NEIP for that brilliant, brilliant initiative. If you want to understand more about how to apply for this initiative, how to build your own business, and I'm happy on that because Comfort and I went into business right from university, and we didn't get this NEIP thing to support us. In a world of difference, it was really a hassle at the time. So I'm really keen on that particular idea being canvassed a bit more. If you want to know more about NEIP and you are here in person, please join the NEIP breakout session in the next few minutes when we break out, and you'll find out more. Franklin, for those listening online and on radio, give us a number, a hotline that they can call to find out more about NEIP. And I'll follow that with the same question to you, Philomena, about the Ghana Enterprises Agency. So Franklin first, and Madam Eva, we'll give you a minute to hear from you because you've come all the way. We want to hear what you want to say about the young people and the future that they have.
All right, so Franklin those online, I will urge you to go to neip.gov.gh. Go to our
right now. Franklin, get them to project on the screens right now. neip.gov.gh is where to go for information about how to apply for these initiatives. Let's go to the National Board for Small Scale Industries, about to become the Ghana Enterprises Agency. Philomena, how do they find you, and what will be your closing point on this?
They have to go to Ghana and the business advisory centers for them to be of assistance to them.
Philomena, please remain standing. I have some questions that if I don't answer, my exit from this room could be at risk. One is from Francis Tindazo, a student of Sunyani Technical University, who wants to find out about funding for a bee farming business. Can you join your group?
Yes.
Okay, so Francis, if you are here, please join the breakout session with the NBSSI and you will find out how to fund your program. Just to also speak to Christopher Tete, who is asking, is this for students only? How many non-students are LMC by hand? Non-students who are here. Well, that's the answer. There are a number of non-students here, national service persons, and young people from the ages of 18 to 35. So, Christopher, if you are in Sunyani, we are here at USBET. You can join us and join one of the breakout sessions and get your questions answered, or go to the websites that have been shared. Let me give a minute to Madam Government and then come back to Minister to wrap up for us. Eva, you sat in, you were with us in Tamale, and you sat in today looking at the various opportunities that are being presented. What will be your closing thoughts?
Thank you very much, Reverend Okran. It's such a pleasure to be here. And I hope that the people here, the young people here, get the energy that we brought. It's not every day that you see the Minister for Finance and his team move into the cities or into the countryside just to impress upon young people that the time is now to take the opportunities that we are offering on the Ghana Kids. And we have delivery units in all the ministries. So beyond the NEIP and NBSSI, there are agencies.
Sorry.
Let me get up and address you. That is fine here. We have teams in the ministry that are participating, and so you can reach them. We'll share later their contact with you so that you can take advantage of this opportunity. We are not doing business as usual. We have targets that we set for ourselves that we want to accomplish by the end of this program. And the results, the targets are ambitious, as Dr. said. And we are counting on you to take advantage of the opportunity so that we can meet those targets. Thank you very much.
All right, so we'll come back with the last question, and then we'll wrap up with the breakup. I hope that you have filled out your forms and your questionnaires that were given to you. We require that information to help us collate your ideas. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just to remind all of us in person to take time to fill out the questionnaires given to you and hand them over before you leave. Not only will they give us all important feedback, but it would also guide in the formulation of policies to be able to serve you better, so that we can come back next time and announce even more exciting initiatives for you. Right, so we've answered the questions that we have today. Let me close with a softer question from Randy Osei, who's asking from UENR, the University of Energy and Natural Resources. He says, in your time as an entrepreneur, what was your greatest fear and how did you overcome it to be able to become successful, Ken? Wow. That's the last question, after which you give your closing thoughts to this wonderful audience. But in your time as an entrepreneur, what was your greatest fear and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, I mean, I think every day you face something new. But, you know, it's really difficult to articulate. I mean, because I think we got to a point where the firm, including my colleagues, decided that, you know, we were here for a purpose, and therefore the firm would survive beyond us. So every issue that came, in a sense, we deeply believed will be solved for the greater good. I mean, the difficulties that we had was really how do you create an organization that has a seamlessness in terms of values, i.e. the values you have at home, you know, coming through to the office does not change because we protect those values. So if our employees go to make a pitch and somebody tries to solicit them or whatever, we were ready to cut off that business, you know, to just protect them. And I think that built a cohesion and a family environment that was very important. So keeping the values and having them shared, in the end we saw various firms come and go, and we stayed through the long term. I remember when we built our headquarters and we put To God Be the Glory on it. I mean, my colleagues outside were scandalized that, Charlie, you don't bring God into these things. So, and we said, well, we don't know how, we have survived and thrived, but clearly that's an X factor, and let's not be shy about it. Yeah.
So values and faith.
Values and faith are important.
Talking about faith, why do you always wear white?
It's nice, isn't it, to be white? But I think Ecclesiastic, is it 9:9? Talks about, it's really about gratefulness. Talks about anointing your hair, wearing white, and loving your wife. So that every day you realize it's a stewardship. You know, it's something God has given you and you're supposed to give back, and you have to honor it. So for me, that's kind of the constant reminder of gratitude that we have, because it's not yours. You know, He can take it away anytime, and you happen to be the custodian at this time. You have to find a way to give it back and constantly be grateful, so you can show that humility to what He has given to you.
I mean, this Sunyani audience has been absolutely the best we've had on this journey so far. We've had interruptions, and they've been faithful to you, and I think that it's been a wonderful experience. So before we sign off, let me ask him two very, very personal questions. Ken, you came to a program, a radio program we had. You drove in without a driver, driving your Kantanka, and after you left, while what you had shared at the program was of interest, many of the people who were at the radio station, Joy FM, were concerned. So does he always do this? Does he drive a Kantanka? And does he drive about without a driver, no security, nothing? And that was for them the news. Tell us about that part of you.
I think the issue is not wasting resources, and also a recognition that things are difficult in the country, and you shouldn't waste, you know. So I'm not sure how uncomfortable a Kantanka is. Of course, it's nice to drive in a V8, etc. But running around Accra, I just don't see. The issue is for me to be able to get to my work and back, and be as efficient as possible. So that really is kind of the attitude. I think the Lord has blessed us enough that really a stewardship for 4 or 8 years, in which you capture the sense of poverty that we have, a sense of protecting the public purse. It's not an inconvenient situation. And I think it's the same way in which you look at your business. You know, you save, you don't necessarily sit in the front pew so that you'll be, you know, asked to pay more. You know, just get yourself in readiness to save, because if you do that well, you'll be able to give a lot more in future, you know, and that's important. Let me just wrap up and then we
Yes,
go.
obviously. So Ken, seated here are the future, the big people who will be building big businesses. What kind of Ghana do you want to see 10 years from now? Your closing thoughts to this audience as they look to you as a mentor.
Yeah, I think one of my big mentors said that Ghana is an idea, and therefore does not belong to only Ghanaians. The idea of political emancipation for Africa, you know, came through here, and it just cascaded throughout. And Nkrumah, you know, built this great sense of black pride. And now we have moved to the idea of trade and investment, entrepreneurship, emancipation, because that's really then the economic engine, and then the spiritual nature that should come with it. And so we should really deeply inculcate what this country represents for Africa and for the black race, and know that we are different. We can't, you know, be doing things the same way other people do it. And we have to also address our issues, you know, in a different way, because we are clear on where we stand in the leadership of the continent and the black race, and we should do that. So that contextual background should then help us in how we solve problems. I mean, we are attempting here to let you see that, you know, someone from Axim, Eva, Abisim, Dr. Ansu, and myself from Chebi, with all of the difficulties, can emerge to be where we are and appreciate, you know, the issues that you are going through. It is scary, we are aware of it, and so a deep feeling about how to make it easier for you is what we stand for. You know, so a lot of passion and energy went into the Ghana Cares program, and we deeply believe that it will lead to the transition that you require to be able to do it. And we should always, you know, especially as university graduates, you know, you can't pretend that you are not an elite in the society. Because how many people have degrees? If you are an elite, then there's also leadership which suggests that you should read, you should understand the context. It's not, you know, a buga chaskele thing, you know. And if somebody says, let's fix the economy, you have to ask, okay, it is structural, can it be done immediately? How do we do that, put the politicians' feet, you know, to the fire, but do not, you know, sort of upset the apple cart? That's important. And what are we doing? In the first 4 years, I would imagine the issue of senior high school, I think we doubled school feeding, we doubled the livelihood entrepreneurship enterprises program. You know, so that was sort of the social welfare to create a sense of social mobility and that everybody should be taken care of. And it was exemplified in the COVID period where truly, globally, everybody is aware of what the country has done to keep lives, you know, and livelihoods together. As the president said, we can't fix the economy, but not bring people to life. So when you look at that contextual part, and you as an educated elite, you know, it gets to different solutions other than just getting on the streets, but finding ways for us to work together. And I really am imploring you to stop, you know, to look, to listen, to understand, and really join us to create this bridge to a world in which we are confident people, a society of prosperity, you know, reduce corruption, but we are self-starters, you know, and we have the enabling environment of a strong financial access for you, a great digital environment, and then we say, you know, go on and do your best, you know, because in the end, the Lord did not give us a spirit of timidity, you know, but one of power, you know, a love for each other, so we can get those products that will facilitate where our country is going to be sort of net exporters, you know, and then self-discipline, so that we really take the bull by the horn and move on, because people, even people like us, can be sitting where I'm sitting. So thank you, and really, I think let's just go for it.
Absolutely amazing. Ken Ofori-Atta, Finance Minister. Let's give him a rousing round of applause as he goes back to his seat. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Show some love to Ken Ofori-Atta, interacting with all of us, sharing his story, answering our questions, telling us about the economy, and very importantly, giving us clear access to areas of economic, financial, technical support for our young businesses. Thank you very much, sir. Let's appreciate him as he goes back to his seat.
Thank you so much. I want to just appreciate also the presence of Professor Elvis Asari Bediako, Vice Chancellor of UNR, who is here with us. We also have Professor Kuonu, Dean of Graduate School, who is also here with us. Can we see you so we can wave at you? Thank you so much. Mr. Alex Donko, Regional Manager for Bank of Ghana, is also here. Thank you. Kindly take your seats.
Well, thank you very much. Minister will be leaving us very shortly for a press interaction. We literally are taking every ounce that we can from him, but he assured us that that's the reason why he came. He wants to be with us from beginning to end and interact with different facets of people. Once again, thanks, Prof. Thanks for joining us for this interaction. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming, Mr. Vice Chancellor, and then also the Dean, and for letting your students come. I'm sure that in terms of practical engagement and stakeholder interactions, this is as good as it gets, because you can't find this anywhere else with practitioners who have done it all and seen it all. Let's give a round of applause as Minister goes out to meet the press. Kafu, you can go with him. Let's rise to our feet as the regional minister escorts the finance minister out. Let's show them some love as they go. It's been a great interaction. All right, so can I get my... Let's appreciate as they go all the way till they get out of the auditorium. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. Please be seated. Please be seated. I would like to announce that we'll be breaking out very shortly. How many want to go to the Ghana Enterprises Agency, also known as NBSSI? Let me see by hand. You want to go to the group? We have three groups. One is the Ghana Enterprises Agency, NBSSI. Let's see by hand those who want to go there. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. How many want to go to the Ghana Cares program, the Batampa program, to find out more about what is on offer? Let me see by hand. Great. How many want to go to the NEIP to find out more about what they do and how they can help? We want to see by hand so we know the sizes of groups, because we have three big venues, but we want to know which one you want to go for so that we can allocate properly. So I'll start again. How many will go to the NBSSI? It's for the next 45 minutes, and then we'll be done for the day, and then you go for lunch afterwards. So let's see NBSSI. Let me see by hand. Ghana Enterprise Agency, NBSSI. All right, upstairs, downstairs. What about the Ghana Cares program, or Batampa? Let me see by hand. You want to find out more? Wonderful. And then finally, NEIP. Let me see by hand. Okay, the numbers are equal across board. All right, Madam Eva, let's give out a phone and let's make some people happy. And then we'll break out. I've had a great time. I hope you have too. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Who needs a brand new phone, please? Who needs a brand new phone for your learning, for your communication, for your interaction? Who needs a brand new phone? I want to give it to one of you. Who should I give it to? Hello, Sun City. I can feel you. I can feel you. I can feel you. All right. Where is my basket? All right. A brand new phone plus 200 Ghana cedis to buy your airtime for the rest of the year. Who wants it? All right. All right. The winner of the brand new phone and 200 Ghana cedis, and I have another one to give. Is David. Did I hear a female voice shout? Are there females called David? David, come for the phone. All right. If David has gone home, I'm picking the next. Oh, I thought you had gone home. Please come for the phone. Is there a problem? What? Is there a problem? What's the problem? Send him. But he's only David. Is there another David? Where is he? The female Davids are worrying me. The next one is for a female, I'm sure. All right, David, what? Is there another David? Where?